Hey everyone, this is Dr. Yam, your Keep It Simple coach, and welcome to another session with me, your coach. For those of you who are new to being solopreneurs, freelancers, and coaches, welcome to the Content Creation Tips and More Facebook group. I am your coach and host, Dr. Yam, your Keep It Simple coach. And so if you haven't already done so and you're watching this as a repeat or on another group or somebody shared it, I want to invite you over to our space. And you can simply go over to smallbizsociety.com, type that in, and it will take you right over to our group. And there just answers 3 simple questions, and you will be in like Flynn. And then you'll have access to all the additional resources, masterclasses, and alike inside there. This is a free but private group, so please take an opportunity to join us. We'd love to have you. And in addition to that, visit my website over at keepitsimplecoach.info. This is where I host my weekly blog posts. I have information there, and of course, services and support to help you to plan, launch, and grow your business. So as your coach today, we're going to be continuing on. We've been on this series of learning around content creation, in particular around social media posts and what are some things that you should do so that you can establish what I call your zen, your balance when it comes to social media posting and creating, and how that can all play a part in your content creation strategy. So today we are going to be working on, let me bring us on up here. Part 6. So in part 6, believe it or not, I know it's been a lot. We are going to be focusing on selling. So I'm going to do a quick review on all of the 6 components of our mind map that take us through the whole area, aspect of balance in our last segment. And then on Monday, or the following component, we're going to have a summary and then what is our what next steps now that you know what you know. So let's get to that. So part 6, or element 6 category, when we think about social media and so creating social posts, the component that I've identified is E is for elicit. So when we elicit, we are trying to secure people's attention so that they can elicit, so that you can sell to them. They can become consumers and buyers, make those conversions. And again, at a simplistic level, we don't want to get too overwhelmed. But let's kind of walk through the matrix and kind of figure out how far we've come. And then I'll go focus a little bit in on this particular segment because it is probably the one you've all been waiting for and you want to do it the most. But again, it's all about the balance. So let's pop over to our share. And let's see if I can bring it in. What happened to my share? Did it go? I gotta share it again. It disappeared. Yeah, where did it go? I tell you, sometimes. Okay, let me do this again. And we'll, there we go. So part of what I've identified as content categories are key elements when it comes to creating social posts that you want to put in front of your followers and your customers you already have, as well as those who can be potential customers. And in this particular mind map, I have identified 6 elements, or the E to the 6th power, as I like to call it. When we think about the fact that each category has a level of importance, however, balance is what's also important. If you put too much of one out there, then it will become a little either overwhelming, too daunting, and then you're just kind of not having the level of variety in that you're touching on all the different emotional points that you can with your potential buyers. So content creation allows you the ability to kind of target your market and give them a well-roundedness when it comes to the types of social posts that you're putting out there to make those connections. So first of the first one we touched on was encourage. And then encourage, we focus on things like inspirational quotes, scriptures, maybe client testimonies, personal photos, anything again that kind of hits on that emotion of being encouraging. The second component was educate. So here is that opportunity. You as the business owner and solopreneur and freelancer, you get to start to share how you have this storage of knowledge and how is it you're going to be able to bring that to the table for them. So now you get to educate them. So when we think about educating your consumers and your potential by way of your followers, this is where you're adding value. So this is an add value component. So what we're thinking about here are possibly you're doing an FAQ and asking a question that's commonly asked by you or from an industry, and you want to share that you have some sense of knowledge with respect to that. You could do live streaming like what I'm doing and simply doing an infomercial, if you would, creating and writing blog posts and articles and contributing that to the body of knowledge that's out there. Creating tips and tricks, always a great thing. Again, how can you give people that little nugget of information that could be helpful to them? That's another way in which you are able to educate them. And then, of course, anything that has to do with data, case studies, and my favorite is infographics. Again, another opportunity to kind of squeeze a lot of information, visually stimulating onto one page. It can be longer, obviously, multi-pages, but it's typically one long page if it is a lot of detail. But it's a great way to capture a lot of detailed information, but also be visually stimulating. You remember, you're always thinking about the 3 learning styles of adults. There's visual, there's auditory, and there's kinesthetic. So always kind of keep that in mind when you're creating the different types of social posts. The next component you have is engagement. So this is where you kind of, again, that yin and yang, a little serious and a little bit of fun. So here in engagement, it's just that. How can you create an ability for those followers and your customers to just engage with you beyond a thumbs up or just becoming a follower? You want them to make personal connections with you. And this is where engagement comes into play. So types of engagement that you can create in your social posts are things like create a poll, create a survey, creating a quiz, simply asking a question. The bottom line is people like to share their opinions. People like to be able to kind of engage and connect with you when they're not able to do so in person, and they're able to kind of just share their ideas and just be a part of a community. And that's where engagement type of posts fall into play. Writing a caption, write a caption for photos, a nice fun one. Again, it could be something hilarious, serious, funny, picturesque, whatever it is. Again, think about it in the context of your own personal brand and the things that are important to you, and also the products or the services that you bring to the table. You always want to somehow, don't be so far off, out of range that it doesn't make any sense to who your followers are and who they know of you. Right? So those are things, is why consistency is also important as well. Obviously, creating a competition is another great way of engaging folks. And one of the things that I've recently learned about it, I thought was a really good idea. Wish I had thought of it originally, but I didn't. Another way that you can engage your customers or your potential customers, particularly in this case, it's really your buyers already, is having them to create what we call user-generated content, when they're highlighting by taking a photograph, maybe making a GIF or making a video of themselves using your product or using your service, even if that's the case, but them showcasing your product. Why is this a great idea? Because when a customer, kind of like a higher end testimony in a sense, they're showcasing that they appreciate and like what they've purchased from you. So whenever they can show it off, then that's an infomercial for you. So what that means is that your user has created content that now you can utilize in a future post, and sharing that out with like, hey, look what my customers are really happy and what they're doing. So engagement types of posts are a great way to make that connection with your followers and clients and potential customers. The next one, again, focuses back on you, is expert. So again, here, this is where you get to do a little showing off. This is where you're able to share your knowledge, share your story. Again, we talk about stories a lot it is a way in which you make those personal connections. It's not just about the business side of things, but you, the person. People need to know, like, and trust you. And so an opportunity for you to share parts of your story and why you do, what's driving you, where your passions are. Behind the scenes is another great opportunity. Again, if you are in the service lane and you're able to maybe share a bit of a course or a session or a class or a product or workbook or like any of your products and services that you have, how you show people how is that getting done behind the scenes, and even in the video or simply as a picture image itself. Promoting your blog is another great way, because when you're blogging for your business, you're again sharing insights and information on the subject matters that are centered around what you do as a provider of services or of a product, and any way that you're able to articulate that in the form of a blog. So promoting that blog and saying, hey, just drop the blog on the 7 SEO tips that one needs to do before they launch their business, right? That's showing your expertise. And of course, anytime you can capture a screenshot too. Sometimes it could be a screenshot of you giving information, answering a question to a customer, somebody who listed it from you, and you can capture that and share that as a post. Again, anytime you're able to kind of highlight that, hey, I know my shit, then this is what that's for. Make sense? All right. And then yesterday we had an opportunity to, again, go back to the fun side. And this side is all about the entertaining. So when we think about entertaining, you may not know it or not, but you do, again, people like to have fun. Everything can't be serious. You have to be able, again, that balance. You just educated them, right? So now here's an opportunity to give them some entertainment or edutainment, if you would like. Again, stock photographs are a nice way just to give some people a simple distraction. People look for distractions, believe it or not. They won't say that they do, but they really do. Creating a meme, sharing a comic strip. Again, if the subject matter is even most ideal, if the topic in that comic strip is an alignment to either a theme or a principle or anything along those lines that really holds true to your business, those are the comics you want, not the random comics just to be doing the comments, but be thoughtful and intentional around your social posts themselves. Daily holidays, I share with you a tool where you can get those informations, creating a funny gift or a serious gift for that matter, but a puzzle, news, a joke, a contest or a giveaway, all of these are ways in which you can entertain those followers. Now, again, you're not doing it every day. You're doing it in connection with all the other ones. So now we are into element E6, which is elicit. So when we think about elicit, we're talking about how can I elicit sales? How can I elicit people to say, hey, I like that enough that I want to buy it. I need to put that information out there. So here's your opportunity to sell, promote, all these good things. So what are some of the things topics when it comes to eliciting that you can consider when you're looking to create your social posts? So here are a couple of ideas. Remember, these are just a way, not the way. So when we think about illicit types of posts, these are items like a product post. Typically, hopefully, you have a series or collection of products. If you're a product-driven type of a business, then whenever you're releasing a new one or even re-releasing it and you want to highlight it, just something that speaks to the product. You have freebies, there are offers, there are discounts and sales, there are even your events that you may be posting. All of these are opportunities of inviting people to engage at a consumer level. That's what an illicit type of social post is. So let's take a look at what we can do when we are creating these types of posts and give you some ideas at the same time. So we're going to head on over to Canva land. So let's head over there. And I'm going to pop this link inside of the group so you guys can have it. I think I gotta refresh the screen real quick. Let me do that. So I'll put the link inside of below this video, so you'll have that to access the templates that I've created for you guys. And remember, the whole point around doing this is you're not starting from scratch. So each one of the topics, as we have them noted for that I just went over, I put together some samples for you guys so that you, again, don't have to start from scratch. So let's get into that one. Now we can share over there. Come on. There we go. All right. Make sure we're inside of, oh, let me change this over. Sorry. That should be better. Okay, hopefully that's better for you guys. All right. Now, when we think about illicit, we're now thinking about how we are able to make those connections. So what type of social posts can you create that kind of hit on some of those topics that I just mentioned to you? So I'll put a couple together. And you'll notice it here. So in the link that's inside of the Facebook group, you'll be able just to click on it and then copy this template into your Canva account as well. If you don't have a Canva account yet, then let me make sure you get a Canva account. Hold on one second. I have, here we go. Here you go. Simply go over to bit.ly/Dr. Yam Canva. Click on that, and then you'll be able to get a free version of Canva. Now, there are some features and functions that you'll see on my screen sometimes that are because I pay for the pro version because there's some features and functions that I like. And we'll talk about platform aspects in a little bit, but just for now, you have the opportunity to at least kind of know that, get your free version. There's a lot that's free, so no shaming at all if you don't go with the pro version. I do it because, for one, if I didn't have the pro version, I wouldn't be able to share templates with you. So there you go. All right, now let's head on over to the space. So up at the top, when you see it in the link, it should say right there, keep it simple, social balance, illicit, Facebook template. So this format is a Facebook template, Facebook post. Some of the other ones I've done for you have been a story, a Twitter, an Instagram layout. So again, but always know, as a reminder, you can always go here to resize. So if you choose to say, well, you know what, I really want to change this to be Facebook ad space, ad layouts, because I'm going to use this for my ads, then you can simply go to resize, type in the one that you want. You can type in Facebook, and you'll see, for instance, oops, I cannot type. Here's a Facebook ad. It will simply, notice it'll give you the size, right? Because that's the different stuff. Facebook ad, by the way, is a totally different size than a Facebook post. So you'll notice here it's 1200 by 628. If I come down here to like a cover, it's a different size. If I come down here and if I put in IG, for instance, they're all coming at different sizes, right? An IG is a total square, 180 by 180. So just know that, but always know that you can resize any of them. Once they're yours, they're yours. Once you make a copy, I'm out of it. All right, now let's move on. I've also did for you guys is this. Inside of the notes section, if you haven't done this and haven't made this a habit, this is something that I really suggest you do when you're working in Canva and you're starting to create a lot of pieces, is get into the habit of, number one, making your design descriptor something you can recognize and remember. So that's step number one. If you want to use some type of naming convention to help organize it. And the reason for that is when you grow and you start handing things off to your VA, you want to have a process in place. So kind of figure that out for yourself. What will make the most sense? We can talk about that at another topic if you have some ideas or don't have ideas enough and you need some thinking around that. Another thing that to keep in mind is there's a reason why these are named by their page number, but there's a space there for you to name these pages. And again, it's an opportunity to keep things organized. So getting into that habit. So I've actually named each one of them by the type idea that I just mentioned. So here is a product post, and then there's actually a little note section. So inside of the notes, you can put either your cheat sheets or any information or notes to self, or even you can write your copy for the social post inside of the notes. That way you'll have them there, and then you can populate it into the calendar or your scheduling later. But when things are top of mind, this is a great space to use that for. So do know that that's an idea that's what you can use your notes for. I simply put a list of the types of social posts for the illicit element that you can utilize and just as a trigger for you. So that's what that is there for. You can do it with this 2,000 characters. Now, so in this case, a simple post is just that, simple. Product post means it's just that. In this case, it's an example of showing a product that you're selling, no matter what kind of product it is. And in this case, I use the word kind of introducing, or it could be come back, whatever language you want to use in that regards. But this just happened to be from Candles Are Us. I made the name up. But again, colors, the visual, and then order now, and then a place to go to find it. Now, again, this is just the image. We're not even at the copy writing components of it. We're simply at the image creation. So I just want to keep that in mind. But again, simple and cute, right? Again, you can edit any of these. Simply change the font to your brand font, change these colors to align with your branding. And like, always make sure that you're putting your logo or your URL there as well. Let me just double check. I got folks in the group. There we go. All right. If you have any questions as I'm going along, guys, simply post them inside of the Facebook group and the thread, and I'll be able to see that for you, okay? Now, going back. So that's a type of a product post. Again, change the font, change the picture. Come on down. Another type of illicit type of post is an event. If you're a service-based person, or even if you're not, I shouldn't say for both, doesn't really matter, because even if you're a product-based person, you can still do events. But again, so it's simple event. Again, name of the event, subcase, and then if there's any special codes or anything along those lines you want to kind of offer up, do that, and then a simple picture. Here's something to also keep in mind if you're not in the habit of doing this. When you're pulling pictures off of Canva, you don't have to just take it for what it is. You have some tools invested inside of the platform that can help you to kind of illuminate them in a way that is more attuned to your brand. What I mean by that is, in this particular example, this particular picture, right, when you click on the background, this is a picture that's in layers, right? You'll notice up here at the top, you have effects, you have filters, and you have adjustments. So effects are here, where you're able to do things like get rid of a background. You can do some dual toning. Again, some of these things come with the pro version, so you may not see the smart markup because there's a pro version component. And these are also some of the other advanced tools that are there. But here's the tool that I really want you to look at. It's the filter tool. This one helps a lot. When you don't have it on a filter, so this one is on the Cali filter. I wanted to tone down the brightness of it a bit. If I had none and I just took it to none, this was the original one. Look at the difference, contrast into the other colors. So here I was going to go with Whimsy. I thought that was, see how bright that is? That was like too yellow, too much peach going on. But Cali softened it up a bit and isn't enough contrast. Play with them. But here's the other thing. You typically, like for most of my pictures, I usually put a filter on all of my pictures that are consistent. And that's another thing to kind of keep in mind when you're looking at your photo images. You too want to have those, even though they're coming from different sources, adding the same filter across it gives that kind of consistent look and branding perspective just by applying a filter. So determine what filter best represents and kind of works in contrast to your brand colors, if that makes any sense. Now, again, I know enough about graphic design to be very dangerous, but fortunately, I have a family member, my sister, who is an expert in graphic design. Does it for a living, does it all her life, comes natural, but she knows all the ins and outs. So she can certainly do it way better than I can. But again, that's the way that looks. See how the afterglow looks compared to the Cali? I wanted it to be a little softer because I wanted the text to kind of stand out more than the photograph itself. But anyway, then you also have levels of intensity too. And these are some other tools. So you can play with it. This is down at 50%. Just my little Canva 101 ad version for that. Okay, anyway, that's what filters are. So don't just ignore the tools that are up there. Use them. All right. Another one is if you're doing a sale, that's another type of eliciting or promotion that you want to do for your business, right? Everybody's should have a sale going on. Not all the time, obviously, but you should offer something up as a sale if it works for you. So here's just a simple one, spring break sale, right? Name of your business. If there's an offer at the bottom, you're good. Maybe it's a 20% off. Now, again, fonts work, layers work. Know that when you're putting in different pictures, if you want to be able to have space so that there's something on the other side, when you double click on this, you'll notice that the image is a lot wider, but it's set up in such a way knowing that if you wanted to, you want to have that more blank space so that you can do text overlays. So know that you can adjust your pictures in the background simply by doing something like that, right? So then when you're done, it has a sense of balance. You have your image and you have some space and you're not trying to put everything over another picture. So pictures are actually specifically taken that way for the use of promoting and labeling, okay? So do a sales promo. Here's another one that's real simple, and this one is just for an offer. Now, in my case, this one is about a session, or in this case, I think it's an e-course. So this one is just that I'm sharing all my secrets, blogger for beginner biz owners, right? So get your access to my new e-course, link in bio. So in this particular case, this was really for Instagram, right? Because in Instagram, you can't do links. So the only link that you have, you got one. So you should be using a web enhancer type of a link app. I'm going to be talking about that and having someone on who actually wrote that. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. But in link by, and when you're doing Instagram types of posts, you always want to reference that. To get the link and the details, you want to go to your link in bio and kind of direct them that way. But again, a simple post, not the only one, but again, just a simple one that you could use one and done and you're out, right? So the real issue here is not to get caught up in creating if you're not a creative person, but at least that you're getting something out there on a consistent basis. That's where the real rubber meets the road in a sense. So just know that that's the idea behind it. Just do it. So those are just some quick examples of social posts by way of eliciting purchases or sales and selling in front of your followers, your current customers that you want to make new customers as well. And that's as simple as that. So we'll stop on that. All right, now let's do a quick review. So again, we talked about the fact that this week we're wrapping it up actually in the sense that how are you creating content that can be balanced with all of the different types of social media posts that you can create, and I've walked you through all 6 of them. So again, we are at elicit. I'm going to do, and in this particular case, there's creating product posts. You have an ability to do freebies. That's another idea. I didn't do a video with that one, but you can do a freebie. You could do simple offers. You could do your sales or your discounts. And then even just promoting your events, a webinar, a challenge, e-course, a membership, you might be offering, starting up. All of those are opportunities where you can sell. But notice that it has to get in balance with all the other components. So in our summary segment, which will follow this, we're going to dig into what does that look like in some next steps. But for now, this segment was simply around creation. So now, and also that you're going to have as many as, okay, at minimum, I've given you at least 3 templates, sometimes more. You've got 6 categories. So 6 times 3, you do the math. Okay, so now you've got a nice bundle of social post creations. The next question is, what the heck are you going to do with it? So that's what we'll be following up with on our next segment. Don't want to let you go without giving another consideration for another social media tool that you could use for your management side. So there's a lot out there. I vetted quite a few, so that's what I do. And so today's highlight of a social media tool that you may want to consider using for your routine is called Later. Later.com. And you can go to bit.ly/later, Dr. Yum later. And there you can check it out. They have a free trial, or there's a free version. And then, but again, when you have free versions, there's always limitations. Okay, but something to try out. And I'm going to bring that website up real quick. It's very similar to the one I shared with you yesterday called Plan. It was initially designed for Instagram marketing platform. Okay, so if you're going to be very into Instagram as your ideal platform, then I think that the Plan and the Later platforms are certainly something to give some consideration to. So I'm going to bring that up. Later, here we go. So here at the Later site, you just go to later.com. Okay, and here it's a management tool where you're able to schedule your Instagram social posts. So because it's all about designing of the grid and being able to do that. Now they're able to actually do direct posting. Before you had to go through their app and then be able to then send the posts. Now you don't have to. You can schedule directly to Instagram now, which is a great time saver, because that was used to drive me crazy. Well, not me, but my VA. But again, you can plan out months of worth of social media posts in a couple of minutes. Keep it simple. They give you opportunities even for you to look for images, so they have access to the royalty-free images that you can utilize. You have an ability also to search for hashtags, so things that are trending, you have that kind of all built in. They even have their own kind of mini website app. They use LinkedIn Bio. There's a couple others that are out there like Linktree, and we'll talk about that on another day. But then they also have an ability for you to check your analytics inside of there. You can post to the other platforms. So I don't want you to think that you can only do Instagram, but it was designed essentially with that, but you can now post to everything else that's out there. So it's another great tool. If you feel as though your buyers, your intended audience, your target audience are hanging out on Instagram and you are spending much more time there, then this may be a more ideal tool. But you'll notice here at the top, you can still social post to Facebook and to Twitter and to Pinterest. So do know that. Another tool, check it out, see what you think, and then you just got to make a decision, right? And so part of being an entrepreneur is being decisive. So which ones are going to be? I've given you 6. I'm going to give you a bonus one next week. So check out in the notes and you'll see where that's about. But that's another opportunity for you to think about now that you're creating content. How are you managing your content and putting it out there on a routine basis? Or at least how are you directing your virtual assistant that's helping you to kind of keep everything going and churning about? That's the beauty of growing your business, is you have that opportunity to leverage people and your time. So think about that. All right. Well, my peeps, today was another great day. We are going to be wrapping it up. Meet me on the flip side, as we like to say, and we're going to do a summary and what next segment after this, so look for it. Until later, let's get busy. Take care.